Tinubu SAC Service Chiefs appoints Oluyede as Chief of Defense Staff. Katsina residents alarmed as bandit attacks intensify in areas outside peace deal. Force debunks reports of assault, says Showore legally remanded. On the foreign scene, Ivory Coast on edge, President Ouattara seeks fourth term amidst election tensions. A warm welcome and thank you for joining us tonight on News Hour. I am Mimina Bagudu. Now, President Bola Tinubu has made changes in the hierarchy of the service chiefs in furtherance of the efforts of the federal government of Nigeria to strengthen the national security architecture. The president appointed General Olufemi Oluyede to replace General Christopher Musa as the new Chief of Defense Staff. The new Chief of Army Staff is Major General W. Shaibu. Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke is Chief of Air Staff, while Rear Admiral I. Abbas is the new Chief of Naval Staff. The Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General E.A.P. Udendeye, retains his position. In a statement signed by Special Advisor to the President, Media and Public Communication, Sunday Diary, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, expressed most profound appreciation to the outgoing Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and the other service chiefs for their patriotic service and dedicated leadership. The President charges the newly appointed service chiefs to justify the confidence reposed in them, to further enhance the professionalism, vigilance and comradeship that define the armed forces of Nigeria. All appointments take immediate effect. Now, President Bola Tinubu's replacement of all service chiefs marks another chapter in Nigerians' long tradition of military reshuffles tied to political timing and performance. Now, since 1999, every civilian president has used changes in the military hierarchy to stamp authority or respond to pressure. Here is how previous leaders handled theirs. Obasanjo changed service chiefs 4 times in 8 years. His first overhaul came barely months into office, aimed at removing officers linked to past military regimes. He maintained a pattern of regular rotation, often keeping chiefs for about 2 years before replacing them. His goal was control, to remind the military that democracy, not the barracks, was now in charge. Yar'Adua made one major change in 2008, about a year after taking office. He retained his chiefs longer than most of his predecessors, largely because his leadership style leaned towards quiet continuity. His tenure was cut short by illness, leaving little room for further reshuffles. Now, Jonathan changed service chiefs 3 times in 5 years. The most notable shakeup was in 2014 when insecurity spiraled on the Boko Haram attacks. His changes were often reactive, prompted by crisis, battlefield losses, or growing public doubt about the military's capacity. Buhari kept his service chiefs for over 5 years, the longest in the Fourth Republic. Appointed in July 2015, they stayed until January 2021, despite calls for their removal as insecurity worsened. When he finally replaced them, it was widely viewed as overdue and forced by public pressure. Now, Tinubu's first set of service chiefs lasted barely 16 months. His decision to replace them now comes amid growing insecurity and quiet talk of discontent in the ranks. The speed of the change compared to Buhari's long hold suggests a more tactical, political aware approach. Across the Fourth Republic, the timing of military reshuffles has often reflected the political mood of the country. Obasanjo used them to assert dominance, Jonathan to calm crisis, Buhari to resist criticism, and now Tinubu appears to be acting early to reassert control and shape loyalty before the pressure deepens. Now, joining the discussion through Zoom is security expert Mohammed Ali to discuss on this security development. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
Hello, good evening.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure being online.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Come again?
Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Good evening.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Do you think
I can
President
hear you loud and clear.
All right, then let's jump right in. Now, do you think President Tinubu's decision to remove the Chief of Defense Staff was influenced in any way by the alleged coup rumors making the rounds?
Not in any way, but the president's overhaul of the nation's military hierarchy today marks a strategic shift in the nation's approach towards restructuring issues of security. This is not just symbolic, but a recalibration of Nigeria's security machinery. Whether it delivers results will depend on how the new leadership confronts the entrenched security threats with innovation, discipline, and unity of purpose across board.
Now talk to us on how significant is this reshuffling at this particular time, given the current security challenges Nigeria faces?
The reshufflement comes as a fantastic move. Fantastic because of the fact that the president took time in trying to reinvigorate the system by retaining the Chief of Defense Intelligence, and that tends to suggest a desire for a robust continuity in intelligence gathering, while on the other hand, it may improve on interagency collaboration between all agencies of security within the country. So I congratulate Nigeria, the bold mind to do what he has just done.
All right, in this reshuffling, the president appointed General Olufemi Oluyede as Chief of Defense Staff. Now, what do we know about his leadership style and also his previous record?
General Oluyede is an excellent officer, and for the period he has served as Chief of this is just a time for him to rekindle his mettle and do the needful for us to move forward. But certainly, I think he has the capacity to carry everybody along, and with that, we'll be able to make a big success in terms of fighting insurgency and the economy of violence that for the past 15 years has been bedeviling this country.
Okay, so the Chief of Defense Intelligence, we got to see that he retained his position. Now, what could this continuity signal?
In terms of intelligence gathering and sharing, there is always the need for continuity. So retaining him is a big plus for the government and the services.
Okay, do these new appointments reflect merit, regional balance, or political strategy, or a mix of all three, if I may ask?
All the appointments, not any primordial consideration or political issues. All the four appointments are based on merit. They are merit-based. So people should not start thinking about primordial consideration, religiosity, or ethnicity.
Okay, if we look at Nigerians' democratic journey since 1999, what pattern do you see in the way civilian presidents have handled service chiefs' appointments and the dismissals as well?
There is always that for 2 years, or at times even after 15 months, there is a tendency to make new appointments, probably in order to meet or satisfy the wishes of certain political constituents. But I think as far as issues of security is concerned, we should work hard and do the best we can to ensure that we distance issues of the appointment into security offices. We should distance it far away from the issues of political consideration. Let's pick the best from the team. That way we'll be able to make a difference in anything that we do.
It was such a pleasure speaking with you tonight, Mohammed Ali, security expert. Thank you for joining us tonight.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now moving on, the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the trial of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, till Monday, October 27th, to enable him to open his defense in the terrorism charges filed against him. Now, Justice James Omotosho fixed a new date on Friday after Kanu informed the court that his former legal team, led by former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Chief Kanu Agabi, had yet to release his case file to him. At the resumed hearing, Adeboyega Owomuno appeared for the federal government and reminded the court that the matter was fixed for Kanu to begin his defense as earlier directed. Kanu, who appeared in court with a bundle of documents, announced his appearance personally and told the judge that his dismissed legal team had refused to hand over his case file. He pleaded for an adjournment to allow him to retrieve and study the file to prepare adequately for his defense. Now moving on, the Nigerian police force has denied reports that its operatives assaulted and forcefully rearrested activist Omoyele Sowore shortly after he was granted bail at the Kuje Magistrate Court in Abuja. The tension had earlier ignited outside the court after eyewitnesses claimed that officers dragged Sowore into a waiting vehicle moments after with unlawful assembly. However, reacting to the incident on his X account, the Force Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hudeyi described the circulating report as procedurally incorrect. He clarified that Sowore was not taken away on any fresh charge as claimed, but was instead transferred to the Kuje Correctional Center in line with a valid remand warrant issued by the court. According to the police spokesperson, Showere's transfer was a lawful procedure pending the fulfillment of his bail conditions. Now, amid growing uncertainty and fear over renewed attacks on local communities of Katsina State, some concerned Nigerians have called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to immediately declare war against banditry to salvage the country from total collapse. The concerned Nigerians sensed imminent danger in the country should banditry be allowed to continue unabated, especially in northern Nigeria. And Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
In recent weeks, public debate has intensified over the ongoing peace agreements between communities and bandit groups across parts of Katsina State. Many residents have asked a troubling question that if the bandits have truly embraced peace, why do attacks still occur in some areas that were once peaceful?
So these things are very, very disturbing. Unless the federal government comes to the rescue of Katsina State, we'll continue to have this problem. Peace pact is good because the farmers will get some relief, they'll go to their farms and remove whatever they have cultivated, whatever they have grown in their farms. But I assure you it's temporary.
It's the highest form of disgrace the Nigerian security agencies, I believe, ever face in the eyes of this. In front of the security agencies, the police, the army, and all of them, bandits coming with weapons, with uniform.
Banditry started in Katsina State with about 5 local government areas few years ago, but now escalated to over 20, destroying livelihoods, creating orphans and widows, and throwing the state into irreversible humanitarian crisis. Many wonder why, in spite of all this, the federal government is yet to see reasons to declare war against these enemies of the Nigerian state. Residents are also saying the best time to declare full-scale war against bandits is now, after all efforts to have lasting peace across the northwest region have failed.
If you negotiate with a bandit, ask him to surrender his weapon. If he relinquishes his weapon and you collect it, at least you have gone a step further in ensuring peace within that locality. That is one. Secondly, the peace pact should not be limited to the bandits and the people alone. Let government come in.
So honestly, the state government, I believe, is forced to go into this kind of, but it is doing it wrongly. Look, you cannot negotiate with bandits on the point of weakness. What we wanted was the military or the security agencies generally to declare war on these people, pursue them. You understand? Make everything from the air and also on the ground until when they are able to surrender by themselves.
Now, local governments such as Kankia, Charanchi, and Kusada that were once peaceful have become major strongholds of bandits few days after a peace deal in the areas that were previously unsecured.
So far, in the Lima district completely, there is not any single town that has not pest touch attack once or two or three times within just 6 to 7 months ago. So that's why we expected that if government or security agency will take the necessary measure to stop this thing or start continue moving to other places, it is very beautiful for us. We shall make a motion and we make a recommendation to send it to the executive form of government for them to take necessary measure to stop that violence.
They however said confidence building efforts must be expanded and intelligence gathering strengthened to isolate criminal elements still committed to violence. Experts suggested that the government need to show firmness and peace should never become an excuse for impunity, believing that those who reject dialogue and choose to continue attacking innocent people ought to face decisive military action. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And now we move to Kaduna State, where the state governor, Obasani, has commended the Department of State Services, DSS, for a highly coordinated covert operation that led to the dismantling of a major gun-running syndicate and the recovery of a cache of arms and ammunition in the state. Describing the development as a turning point in Kaduna's fight against insecurity, Governor Sani said the operation revealed how the state had become a critical transit route in a regional arms trafficking network supplying weapons to bandit groups across the northwest. The report.
Speaking through the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, the governor said the success of the sting operation affirms the strength of Kaduna's intelligence-led security framework, known as the Kaduna Peace Model, which emphasizes interagency collaboration and community-driven surveillance. Security sources said the DSS arrested 3 suspects in separate operations in Igabi and Kachel local government areas. One of the suspects, a 30-year-old man, was intercepted along the Nnamdi Kanu bypass while transporting weapons concealed inside sacks of maize. Recovered items included 2 AK-47 rifles, a PKT machine gun, 220 rounds of live ammunition, and 4 magazines. 2 other suspects, aged 44 and 38, were arrested on the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway with 3 AK-47 rifles, 3 magazines, and 69,050 naira hidden in their vehicle. Investigations revealed that the arms were destined for a notorious bandit network in Niger State, with Kaduna serving as a key logistics route.
Certainly, there must be some bad eggs within the society and even outside the society who will want to rubbish the efforts of the government.
Governor Sani praised the DSS for its professionalism and resilience, noting that the agency's intelligence-driven tactics are proving more effective than traditional force-based responses. He reiterated that under the Kaduna Peace model, there will be no hiding place for bandits, arms traffickers, or their collaborators.
The non-kinetic approach by the state government is plausible. It is something that is commendable. It's something that has been giving us results. The DG DSS has also been doing wonderfully well. I must commend his efforts. I must say that since his appointment, we have been having it so good in Kaduna State in particular.
He also commended the synergy among all security agencies, crediting their cooperation with making Kaduna one of the most stable states in the region. He added that Governor Sani has remained consistent in supporting all security formations and that such teamwork is clearly yielding positive results. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Now, at least 11 suspected high-level members of several terrorist groups have been arrested by the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, in Nigeria. They were among the 83 suspects apprehended across 6 African countries in an operation code named Operation Catalyst. Now, countries where arrests were made include Nigeria, Angola, Cameroon, Kenya, Namibia, and South Sudan. In a statement, Interpol revealed that the operation lasted 2 months and targeted terrorism financing and the illegal activities supporting it. It added that over 15,000 persons of interest and entities were looked into. The operation discovered $260 million in both fiat and virtual currencies and seized over $600,000. Now, the Nigerian Governors Forum has pledged to deepen intelligence sharing and coordination with the Department of State Services, DSS, to effectively tackle insecurity, violence, extremism, and communal unrest across the country. This resolution was reached at the forum's 5th meeting held in Abuja from Thursday night into early Friday. The governors also urged their colleagues to rally support for the Reserved Seats for Women bill, describing it as a vital step towards achieving gender equality and inclusive governance. The meeting came amid renewed security concerns following sporadic attacks by armed groups in various parts of the country. Earlier in the week, the DSS had raised an alarm over an alleged plot by the Islamic State West African province, ISWAP, to attack parts of Ondo and Kogi states. Security agencies in the affected areas have since heightened surveillance and activated counter-terrorism measures to prevent the threat. And Kogi State, which borders 10 states including Benue, Anambra, Enugu, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti, Kwara, Niger, Nasarawa, and the Federal Capital Territory, was described by the forum as a strategic corridor that requires reinforced security presence and intelligence cooperation to curb terrorist movements. In a communique signed by the NGF chairman and Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak and read by Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governors emphasized the need to enhance collaboration with federal security agencies to promote peace and stability nationwide. Now, leaders of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the Northwest have rejected the nomination of Tanimu Turaki as a consensus candidate for the position of the national chairman by the party's northern leaders. The regional leaders, who are said to back former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido for the chairmanship position, expressed displeasure that they were not consulted before the decision to nominate Turaki was reached. The development has deepened internal disagreement within the party as it moves towards its national convention. The meeting was attended by the PDP National Organizing Secretary Umar Baturi, Northwest PDP State Chairman, governorship candidates, and other key stakeholders from the region.
This meeting was instance of the governor of Zamfara with a view of adopting a particular individual for the national chairmanship position that is zoned to Northwest. A meeting was held yesterday with the other leaders of the other zones of the north, and the name of an individual was supposedly adopted, while the Northwest has not met to agree on that position. That's why we came for this meeting, and unfortunately, that meeting again was postponed. So what is want to make clear to everybody is this zone has not adopted anybody as a candidate from this zone to be chairman of the People's Democratic Party. There's a lot of resentment due to lack of consultations among the leaders of this zone. We believe we are the strongest zone here of the PDP, and the attitude of our leaders in this regard made us to take this position. That we disagree with the governor's position of yesterday, and we are going to have our own candidate that will nominate for that position.
Now, the embattled national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Shehu Gabam, has dismissed his reported expulsion from the party as illegal, null and void, describing it as a desperate move by imposters to destabilize the party. In a statement issued on Friday in Abuja by his special assistant Abubakar Baba, Gabam faulted the decision, insisting it had no constitutional backing. He cited Article 13 of the SDP Constitution, which empowers only the national chairman to convene and preside over meetings of the National Convention, National Executive Committee, National Working Committee, and National Caucus. Now, Baba also accused the party's National Secretary Olu Ogunloye of breaching INEC's 2022 guidelines for political parties by allegedly writing to the electoral body to communicate the outcome of what he called an illegal meeting. He added that a certified true copy from INEC confirming Gabam as the recognized national chairman was attached to the statement. The statement further dismissed the role of Sadiq, who reportedly presided over the meeting that announced Gabam's expulsion, saying he was neither a member of the party nor of its National Executive Committee and therefore lacked authority to preside over any of its meetings. However, the SDP's National Publicity Secretary Rufus Ayenigba, while addressing journalists at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja, maintained that Gabam's expulsion followed months of investigation and disciplinary proceedings. This is News Hour on Trust TV, coming up after the break. Kano's nightlife tells stories of resilience amid economic uncertainty. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories once again. Tinubu SARC service chiefs appoints Oluyede as Chief of Defense Staff. And Katsina residents alarmed as bandit attacks intensify in areas outside peace deal. Now, moving on to more stories, the House of Representatives has reaffirmed its commitment to reforms that will strengthen public confidence and protect Nigerians' financial system. Now, lawmakers made this known during a public hearing in Abuja on two key financial bills. The report.
At the session, Chairman of the House Committee on Banking Regulations, Mohammed El-Rufai, explained that the proposed laws seek to regulate factoring and receivables financing, as well as amend the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, BOFI 2020. He also said the bills are designed to improve access to finance for small and medium enterprises, enhance liquidity, and protect victims of fraudulent withdrawals.
It is a proposal that focuses on protecting victims of fraudulent withdrawals from their accounts and ensuring accountability and in the financial system. Both bills share a common goal: enhancing trust, transparency, and stability in our banking and financial ecosystem.
Representing Governor Ubasani of Kaduna State, Fabian Okoye described the initiative as crucial to boosting liquidity and supporting MSMEs. He also commended Speaker Abbas Tajuddin and the 10th House for sustaining focus on financial reforms.
Around the world, factoring has become a critical engine for trade finance and SME growth. In emerging markets, it accounts for billions of dollars annually in financing, improving cash flow, reducing defaults, and supporting export competitiveness. With the right legal backing, Nigeria can unlock similar benefits, attract investors into the factoring space, and strengthen our financing infrastructure.
Stakeholders also shared their views on the proposed legislation.
Section 64(4) that this bill seeks to amend not only exists that this bill seeks to add section 64(4), but unfortunately, section 64(4) is already existing in the Act.
That the bill currently provides for CBN to give special approval or license before banks and other financial institutions can do factoring. So the challenge we have with that is two things. Number one, currently the BOFIA Act provides factoring as a permissible activity. To have such a provision in this current bill, it means that we then have a conflict between two legislations. The second issue with that as well is there is no clear mandate on what the prescribed parameters for granting this license would be for CBN, which then means that we're leaving it to their discretion. It's then possible that we can have a well-meaning commercial bank, like some of the banks that are in the room today, who are very interested and are capable of doing factoring, but for some administrative or otherwise reason, they will be removed from the ecosystem and unable to participate.
The public hearing marks another step in the National Assembly's efforts to create a stronger, safer, and more inclusive financial system for all Nigerians.
Now, as the sun sets over Kano, a different kind of energy begins to fill the air. For some residents, the night is a time to relax and unwind, while for others, it's when the real work begins. Abdul Aziz Ibrahim takes a look at how Kano's bustling nightlife keeps the city alive long after dark. Let's take a look.
It's 7 p.m. in Kano, and traffic builds up around Kabuga Bridge. Some residents rush home from work, while others step out to begin their night routines. From the glow of lights at roadside food stands to people engaged in evening gist at meeting spots, Kano's nightlife is as diverse as its people. At dusk, the city comes alive at many places with the aroma of suya, sizzling tea joints, fruit juice vendors, recreation and night hangouts. For some, these activities are purely recreational. For others, it's serious business. At Medile area, we meet Hafiz Abusani, who runs a busy Fura Danono and fruit drinks joint that caters to the city's evening crowd.
I choose Medile because it has lots of newly married couples. You know, one good thing with them, they have affordability of our products.
At suya spots like this one at Mandawari, business is booming.
We slaughter at least 4 cows every day, and we start work from 2 p.m. each day to 3 a.m. The next day, you will meet us here. We attend to more than 1,000 customers per day, from faraway places like Dambare, Otoro, and further. I love eating the suya meat. That's why I patronize this place at night, because their services are actually good. Once I have money, I come out at night to buy the suya to take, back home to my kids.
Beyond food and trading, recreation is a growing part of Kano's nightlife. Mini football pitches and event centers are springing up across the city, and most are fully booked at night.
Usually it's during the night, because during the day you have all your daily things that you have to do. You don't have the time to do it during the day. So you have to leave it till the night. I just come here to exercise and everything.
From suya sellers at well-known joints to attendants in open-air tea spots, many depend on nighttime business to make ends meet. The nightlife, however, depends on key factors like security and the economy. But despite these challenges, many residents believe that commerce after dark remains a lifeline in Kano, as the city never truly sleeps.
We have
those that book permanent times, usually from evening around 4, until 11 to 12 midnight. Business is good at night because some even come here without sport wears, but they buy from here.
Gaskiya alhamdulillah mun fi samun ciniki da daddare.
Mostly make brisk business at night because we start by 5 and remain till 12 midnight. So most customers come after work from far and wide to buy.
From leisure to livelihood, Kano's nights tell a story of resilience for business owners and social connection for many residents. This rhythm is what keeps many places in Nigeria's most populous city alive long after sunset. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Interesting report there from Kano. Now, the Kaduna State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, has commended Governor Obasani for what it described as a remarkable transformation of the health sector within 2 years of his administration. Now, speaking during a courtesy visit to the Sir Kashim Ibrahim House, the NMA chairman Hassan Bala Salihu said the governor has achieved several notable firsts in the areas of healthcare, infrastructure, welfare, and professional training. The report.
Dr. Salihu highlighted that Kaduna State is the first in northern Nigeria to enact a mental health law and integrate mental health services into its general hospitals. A milestone, he said, has significantly improved access to care. He also praised the state government for introducing a bonding policy for medical students, under which allowances are paid to students who, in turn, are obligated to serve the government for a stipulated period after graduation, a measure aimed at reducing the shortage of health personnel. The NMA chairman further applauded Governor Obasani for implementing the 2024 Consolidated Medical Salary Structure (CONMES) and the Consolidated Health Salary Structure (CONHES) for doctors and other health workers, noting that such reforms have boosted morale and productivity in the sector.
I really appreciate and acknowledge the recent approval and immediate implementation, sir, of the CONMES and CONHES salary structure in Kaduna State for doctors and other healthcare workers. Your Excellency, this will certainly reverse, not only ensure that we maintain the doctors in the state, it's likely going to reverse the JAPA syndrome, that, as we call it, people leaving the country, people leaving the state. Sincerely acknowledge the upgrade, the restructuring, the transformation in our secondary healthcare facility, as well as the primary healthcare hospital that we have in the state.
Responding, Governor Obasani, who accepted to serve as the patron of the NMA Kaduna State branch, also announced the donation of an operational vehicle to the association and pledged to host the next NMA Games in the state. The governor described the NMA as a partner in progress, acknowledging the association's contribution to the state's healthcare achievement. He reaffirmed his administration's commitment to making quality healthcare accessible to all citizens, emphasizing that health is not a privilege but a fundamental human right.
Whether we like it or not, is one of the biggest medical facility in the whole of northern Nigeria as we're speaking today. And whether we like it or not, because of that, we will be able to, Kano will be one of the medical tourism states in the whole of Nigeria. And because of that, our doctors need a quarters where they will stay. And in any case, since you have a very vibrant association and functional, we will certainly I will instruct the Kajis to give you allocation of land in the next 48 hours.
Governor Sani noted that Kaduna has a competent health team driving its policies and revealed that the state has 255 primary health centers, PHCs, one in each ward, currently being revitalized and upgraded to level 2 facilities, making Kaduna the state with the highest number of standardized PHCs in Nigeria. In recognition of his contributions, Dr. Salihu disclosed that the NMA has nominated Governor Obasani for a national award, making him only the third non-medical recipient after former President Ibrahim Babangida and Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State.
We shift our focus now to Adamawa State, where the state governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri has reiterated his commitment to fully supporting the Better Education Service Delivery for All BESDA program, emphasizing that his administration will continue to partner with the World Bank to enhance education across the state. The governor gave this assurance while receiving a BESDA World Bank delegation at the Government House in Yola. Now, Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo reports.
The delegation include Shin Nomera, a World Bank senior economist and team lead for education programs, who explained that the team was in Adamawa State to assess ongoing education projects and strengthen their implementation. This was Nomera's first visit to Adamawa, where he expressed satisfaction with the progress made so far under the BESDA, AF and TESTA programs, particularly in school construction, teacher support and community participation. He noted that while the project has seen significant advancement, there is still 1 year remaining, adding that the mission aims to review achievements and ensure all outstanding activities are completed before the program concludes in October 2026.
Investing in education is important for the safety, building the safety in the country, because many children out of schools currently have no opportunities, and they have been they could be influenced by the different philosophies. So having a good education, good quality education, and enjoy the learning opportunities is important for building the peace and among the communities.
Governor Fintiri expressed gratitude to the World Bank for its support, but appealed for a more equitable distribution of funds, highlighting that Adamawa has faced major setbacks due to insecurity that has damaged many schools and infrastructure. He stated that Adamawa remains dedicated to transparency and accountability in all partnership projects and will continue to construct modern schools, provide teachers with learning resources, and expedite delayed programs for the benefit of the state's children.
So I want to assure you that it is a partnership that works. We are not here at the subnational to subvert any program that the bank will bring to us. This is a different set of governors that are really down to earth to ensure that whatever comes in is really judiciously utilized for the benefit of our people. This I want to assure you and for you to take it back to the bank.
The primary goal of BESDA is to reduce the number of out-of-school children and improve literacy levels in Nigeria, especially in states with a higher number of children not attending school. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now moving on to business. Nigeria's international money transfer operator inflows declined to $193.14 million in the first quarter of 2025. Now, data from the CBN's quarterly statistical bulletin shows that inflows fell to $888.39 million in quarter 1, 2025, compared to $1.08 billion in the same period of 2024. Now, this represents a 17.8% decline year-on-year and highlights the fragile momentum of diaspora remittance into Africa's largest economy. Although lower than last year, inflows in the first quarter of 2025 still outpaced the $770.23 million recorded in quarter 1, 2023, suggesting that remittance levels remain elevated compared to pre-2024 levels. Now, Global Watchdog Financial Action Task Force on Friday said it has removed Nigeria from its grey list, ending nearly 3 years of being tagged a destination for dirty money. This move signaled a boost for investors' confidence in the nation's economy. Nigeria was removed from the list alongside South Africa, Burkina Faso and Mozambique after their government stepped up efforts to combat money laundering and terrorist financing. South Africa and Nigeria were added to the grey list in February 2023, while Mozambique was added in October 2022 and Burkina Faso was originally designated in February 2021. Now, away from Nigeria, Ivory Coast is heading to the polls Saturday, with President Alassane Ouattara seeking a fourth attempt amidst economic growth and rising political tensions. The election is being held amid controversy, with key opposition figures including former President Laurent Gbagbo and former Credit Suisse CEO Tidjane Thiam barred from running. Ouattara, 83, is running against 4 other candidates, including former First Lady Simeon Gbagbo, who is campaigning on a platform focused on national reconciliation, decentralization, education, and social reform. The election is seen as a test of Ivory Coast's democratic resilience, with concerns about the fairness of the electoral process and the potential for post-election violence. The government has deployed 44,000 security personnel and banned protests, sparking criticism from Amnesty International and opposition leaders. And despite these tensions, Ouattara remains the favorite to win, given his control over state institutions and the exclusions of his main rivals. Now, Ghanaian police have rescued 57 Nigerians trafficked to the country and forced to work in a cybercrime ring. 5 suspects have been arrested in what authorities described as a major breakthrough against online fraud networks in West Africa. The victims, aged between 18 and 26, were rescued during a police raid in a suburb of Accra. According to Ghana's Criminal Investigations Department, they were lured with promises of lucrative jobs but were instead coerced into running online romance scams. And during the operation, police recovered 77 laptops, 38 mobile phones, 2 vehicles, and several other internet-enabled devices. Officials say the rescued victims are receiving care and support as investigations continue, while efforts are underway to repatriate them to Nigeria. The Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa said on Thursday that an unknown attacker had attempted to poison him with chocolate and a jam laced with chemicals gifted to him at a public event. The 37-year-old president said the toxic substances could not have come from the products themselves or their packaging. The military body responsible for this security detail had filed a complaint with prosecutors. It is the second time that Noboa's administration has alleged an attempt on his life amid indigenous anti-government protest and spiraling crime. The country's largest organization of indigenous peoples, called Konya, have blocked roads, including in the capital's Pichincha province since September 22nd over mounting fuel costs. And some experts have suggested that Noboa's allegations about attempts on his life could be a way to portray the protesters as violent to boost his political fortune. In sports updates, let's join Adeniyi Ajishafe.
The Super Falcons of Nigeria scored 2 goals to edge the Amazons of Benin Republic in the first leg of the Women African Cup of Nations final qualifiers in Lomé, Togo. Forward Chiwendu Hezwo and Esther Okoronkwo scored first-half goals to give African champions Nigeria the win. Super Falcons played strongly with Rasheedat Ajibade's 6-minute move over the Amazons goalkeeper. Ogun hit the woodwork, while Falashade Jamilusi's try minutes later was parried away by goalie Ogun. Benin Republic couldn't hold on tight to their low block game plan as Deborah Abiodun weaved open a congested midfield with a pass to Chiwendu Hezwo, who put the ball beyond the reach of the goalkeeper to give Nigeria the lead in the 23rd minute. While Nigeria dominated the game, the Amazons had their foresight of Nigerian goal in the 36th minute when Mumuni managed to get past Osina Shohane to strike at goal denied by goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie. Deborah Abiodun picked out Esther Okoronkwo, who slots home to double the lead for Nigeria before halftime. Super Falcons almost conceded in the closing stages of the first half as Muni's shot struck the frame of the post to end the half 2-0. The second half proved tough for both teams following tactical adjustments. However, Nigeria containing the pace of the Amazons wingers, who stepped up with high intensity in search for goals. The win gives Nigeria an advantage ahead of the second leg on Tuesday at MK Abiola Sports Complex, Abeokuta. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe.
With that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do also follow us on all of our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more news. I am Mimuna Bagudu. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and good night.